Welcome back into the den. I'm Tobin, episode 17 in my razor review series, the Merkur 34c HD. The C stands for chrome, the HD is heavy duty. Chrome, absolutely. Heavy duty, I think that's debatable. It's definitely a razor that's going to last a lifetime. Let's get into this. We're going to follow the same format as we've done in the previous 16 videos, but with this one, at the end of the video, we'll stick around to discuss whether or not this is the GOAT. A lot of people in the wet shaving community call this the greatest of all time. I'll debate that, whether or not it is. I have another acronym for it. And then we'll also compare it to other Merkur razors, because this head can be found on other razors from Merkur. Starting out with the efficiency score, taking a look at the blade gap primarily, but also the exposure. Three things make a safety razor efficient or mild, and that is the blade gap, the blade exposure, and the angle. The blade gap in inches is 0.028 of an inch, or 0.71 millimeters. The exposure is neutral. So when you shave with it, you'll feel a little bit of the blade, but not too much. It's right about where a lot of people like it. And I do enjoy a neutral blade feel, but I also enjoy more exposure. But just so you know, it's what is called neutral. For an efficiency score, with 5 being average, 10 being the most efficient thing ever, and 1 being the most mild razor ever, I'm going to give the Merkur 34c a 4. It's just below average, not quite what I would consider average, but it's really close to average when it comes to how close of a shave it delivers and how efficiently it does the job that it's meant to do, reducing stubble. Next, we'll look at symmetry score. With the symmetry score, we're talking about knurling. Knurling is what we call the grip on the handle, the blade tabs, whether or not they're exposed, and then weight and balance of the razor. The weight and balance is perfect. You want the balance to be right about where you're going to hold it. So if you're putting your pinky on the bottom and you're holding it right here, that is where the balance point is, right there. There's your balance point. So the balance is phenomenal. I'll put the weight on the screen. The blade tabs, they stick out just a little bit, and I do like that. This is a two-piece razor, and a two-piece razor differs because you have the post actually attached to the top cap. Put your blade on there, and then when you bring it back down, you're able to hold onto it just a little bit, but you do need to be aware that if you shave under your nose, or if you're getting close and under your ears, the blade tabs stick out just a little bit, but not a lot. For a symmetry score, I feel like this is a very average razor. The knurling is nice. I never feel like this razor is slippery, and that's due in part to how short it is. It's what we call a bulldog. When it's short and stout like this is a bulldog style handle. With everything that I just mentioned, the knurling, the blade tabs, and the weight and balance, I'm going to give it a symmetry score of 5. It's very average when compared to other razors on the market. Next is tolerance score, looking at the blade alignment and the chatter. Blade alignment is how easy it is to get the blade in there so that it's perfectly aligned on both sides. Sometimes when blade alignment is poor, you might have a little bit more hanging off on one side than you do the other, so you don't get an even shave. You might find that you're shaving on this side and it doesn't quite feel that efficient, and then you flip it over and you notice more blade, and that's because the alignment isn't perfect. It's not how it should be. The alignment with this razor is very easy. I have no problems aligning the blade. I put the blade on top of there, put it together, and I feel like I always get good alignment. Chatter, I don't really notice any chatter. It does a great job of securing the blade. For a tolerance score, 10 being the best tolerances ever, 5 being average, I'm going to give it an 8. I feel like in the tolerance category, the 34C does a great job. Next, looking at permanence score. With the permanence score, we're talking about durability and construction materials. Now, this razor is made from Zamac. It is a zinc alloy. Sometimes people look down upon zinc alloys, I have this 37C here that is from Merkur, made out of zinc alloy. This is from the early 1950s. It has held up well over time, even though it was neglected. And I can tell it was neglected because of the state that it's in. But the overall structure of the material is still strong. The only thing that has been diminished is the plating. And that's of no fault of the razor. That is just due to it not being taken care of. If you put this razor away dry after using it, you make sure that it's dry and you keep it clean, this chrome plating on the Zamac should last forever. It really should. I have old razors from Merkur that are still in great condition. So for a permanence score, I'm going to give it a 7.5. If it was made out of stainless steel or a more durable material, I would give it a higher score. But I feel like Merkur always uses quality materials, and yes, there is different grades of Zamac. There's several different grades of Zamac. I don't know exactly what they're using, but I don't feel like this is a fragile razor. In the permanent score, once again, Merkur has done a great job, as they always do. I own around 20 Merkur razors, 14 of them all being different ones, even including their old Bakelite razor. I believe this was the Merkur 45. You can no longer get that. I love Merkur. I collect Merkur. And there's a reason why this razor does get a lot of hype. And one of the reasons is it is made very well for a zinc alloy. Friendliness to new wet shavers. Taking everything into account that I talked about above, especially the efficiency. And as I say in all these videos in the series, that for a new wet shaver, someone who is buying their first safety razor, or maybe even their second or their third, taking that type of viewer, buyer into consideration, 5 being average, 10 being I would recommend it in a heartbeat, 5 being maybe, I'll give this one a 7. I recommend that a new wet shaver, somebody buying their first razor, only spends around $30 to $50 on their first razor. That way, if wet shaving isn't for you, you're not out hundreds of dollars. It's an affordable entry point, $30 to $50. This razor falls right at the top of that bracket, of that price range. You should be able to get it for $50 or less. Shave Supply right now has it for $50. $45 is free shipping. So if you buy this at the Shave Supply, you'll get free shipping. I think Amazon has it for $47. So friendliness to new wet shavers, a 7. Now, overall value. How do I feel about whether or not I got my money's worth, and what is the overall value? What is the overall score that I would recommend to you? I've owned Merkur razors for years. I didn't actually buy this one until January of 2021 off of Amazon. And when I did, I paid $40.43. It's gone up a little bit in the, 4.5 years? Or 4 years. Yeah, almost 4.5. It's May 2025. I'm going to give it an overall value of 8. I do feel like you're getting a lot of razor for your money. Even if you paid $50 for it, you should be able to get it for between $45 to $50. Don't pay more than $50. Anything less than $50, or $50 and below, I think you're getting a good price on this razor in 2025. Especially if you get from somewhere that includes free shipping, like the Shave Supply, and I highly recommend the Shave Supply. I got their sticker right up there. I'm not endorsed. I won't earn anything from that, but that is a company that I highly recommend doing business with. Gareth is the owner, and he'll take care of you. So an overall score of 8. So now, I love this razor. I love Merkur. I'm not throwing shade, but let's be critical and let's get real for a second. Another company that I love that makes razors is called Razor Rock. You might know them also as Italian Barber. I have a bunch of the razors, amazing razors. They recently made a clone of this razor called the GOAT, greatest of all time. And one of the reasons why they've done that is because there's people in the community who recommend this as the best razor for new wet shavers. I disagree with that. This is not the best razor for new wet shavers. I think that a brand new wet shaver can do better. The greatest of all time, I don't know what the greatest of all time is. But I do know that the greatest of all time is not the Merkur 34c. If I was going to give this razor an acronym, it would be COW, C-O-W, COW, consistently okay workhorse. That is what this razor is. For the money, $50 or less, it is a great razor. Is it the greatest of all time? No, it's a great razor, but it's not the greatest of all time. Now, you can get this same exact head in a whole bunch of other Merkur razors. Merkur is kind of a one-trick pony, and I don't mean that in any disrespect. Mula does the same thing. Edwin Jagger does the same thing. A lot of companies do this. The head that is found on the Merkur 34c is also the head that's found on the 23c, the 38c. This used to be called the 20B, standing for black, but they're now calling it the 20c. The longer one is the 30c. It's got this black grippy handle. I have I grabbed two. I have two of the 38Cs. When I'm testing blades and doing other schnerdery things, shave nerd things, I'll use these two 38Cs. But my point is that what I believe is a better razor for a new wet shaver, and coincidentally, it's a little cheaper, is the Merkur 23C. If you're a brand new wet shaver, you're likely switching over from cartridge razors. Cartridge razors, like this Gillette Mach 3, are over 4 inches long. The 23C has the exact same head as the 34C, but the handle is 4 inches long. It is a much longer razor. Merkur basically makes 3 different heads. They have the head that you'll find on the 23 and the 34C, which is their straight bar head, okay? All of their straight bars that are not adjustable have the same head. All these razors that I just showed you have the same head. Where the difference lies is when you take a look at the slant, and there's only 2 slants. There's the 37C with a slanted head and the 39C with a slanted head. The only difference, same exact head, is the length of the handle and the knurling, the grip on the handle. Now, they have the open comb, so that would be option number 2. You have the straight bar. All of them are the same. You have the slant. There's 2 of them, the 37 and the 39. Both of those heads are the same. And then you have the open comb. All the open combs, whether it's the 15C or what is it, the 24C? No, the 24 is the new 5-inch long handle for ladies, or it's marketed to ladies, that just came out not too long ago. The only exception would be is then a 4th bracket would be, is there adjustables? Like the Merkur Future has its own unique head. The Merkur Progress has its own unique head. The old Merkur 71 had its own head. Even the Bakelite had a unique head. But if you're shopping for a Merkur and you want a straight bar, just know that all of their straight bars are the exact same head. The only difference is the handle. It's little big things, my friends. I think you can get this one for like $40 or something like that. There's a couple of them that you can get cheaper. If you want, a long, heavy handle, the 38C is the way to go. It's longer and heavier than the 34. If you want something that is longer, about the same weight, the 23C, and then the 33C is exactly the same razor as the 34C, but the difference with the 33C is the 33C has the same handle that this 23 has, except for it's 3 inches long instead of 4 inches long. So Merkur has a handle for everyone, but what they don't have is maybe a head for everyone. Where that comes into play is with the adjustables, which I highly recommend the Progress. This is a little too aggressive, the Merkur Future, but the Merkur Progress is a great razor, kind of a catch-all to get, to cover all your bases. If you're going to buy a Merkur and you're a new wet shaver, I recommend the Progress because it's adjustable. Anywho, it's little big things, and no matter which Merkur you buy, I think you're going to get a great razor. So, to sum it all up, it's not the GOAT in this humble reviewer's opinion. It is the cow, the consistently okay workhorse. You guys take care. I'll see you next time.